Okay folks, welcome to Moosejaw'b RC Body Shop, and today I'm going to do a little bit different technique. I want a little less salt, a little less rust, more patina, more weathering, and instead of salt I might play around with baking soda. I've seen this before on YouTube, a guy named Johnny Rains out of San Jose, and it got a more fade-in look instead of splotchy look, I guess you would say, from the salt. So today's specimen is, if you will, is the VS4-10 Vanquish Pro. All right, and this is a gentleman, a friend of mine, Mr. Eric Baker. I've done one of his bodies before. I did the little Star Wars theme there, Stormtrooper thing. Same body, but now he wants a patina, and we're gonna pick some good colors here. We're gonna pick this nice, good old Corsa gray. It's kind of a light blue in a way. Can't really tell in the light. There you go. That kind of gives you an idea. I like this color. I haven't used it for patina yet, so we're gonna do that as well. And like I said, we're gonna have fun with this. It's gonna be awesome. So, like I said, this is already prepped. What I used was a PS12 Tamiya silver on the inside. And I haven't really backed it yet because there's really no reason to, because I'm going to paint mostly on the outside. I'm going to eventually back it with that Corsa gray, because, you know, if it's painted on the inside, the base color should be painted on the inside, outside, inside. Hopefully that makes all sense, and we'll get it all that color inside as well, which I do like. The hood though, it's still got protective film on it. The only thing that's, no it doesn't. The only thing that has protective film is the windows and this white top. International Scouts 80s had a fiberglass top, if I remember right, even though I see some pictures of them rusted, so I'm kind of curious about that. I remember my father's, it was fiberglass, if I remember right. In any case, what we're going to do on the hood though, we're going to actually make this just black. Like this was the one replaced part on this truck later on. I think it will look cool. Just having the blue and the white, it needs something else. We'll have a little, you know, black in the back and maybe, but definitely there on the front, like you would typically see. And for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to try it. I don't know if I have a mount that's really good yet to do a time lapse. I'm going to try to. But I have to paint. It's getting dark outside, so I have to paint inside a garage, and you know, I have to keep a garage door open, and I have vents on the top of the roof here. But I'm gonna maybe just come back and forth. To get an explanation on how I do this, I'll put a link up above here on my video on patina style weathering. It's pretty easy, and you know, one guy who loves orange could do it. Well, anybody could do it. Here we go. Special note, this body's been sitting for a week and there's some dust on it, so we do have to give it outside a little quick bath. Not much, just wipe it down with a paper towel and so forth. Am I gonna scratch it up a little bit? No, I'm feeling pretty good because I'm using mostly poly paint on this anyway, so we're good. So we got our paints in the hot tub. Hot water builds up the pressure and really allows everything to come out nice and neat, evenly adhere to your Lexan body. Start off with the PS1 for the outside. All right, so we did one coat. Let's see how it turned out. What did we kind of made an audible there? I'm deciding I'm gonna, instead of a nice clean flat black hood, I'm actually really patina the hood instead. It still be black, but I'm gonna play with this white. I might even add some gold and definitely some rust to it, where everything else might look weathered through time. That's the goal. You never know how these are going to look. And you have an idea, you try some techniques, you try this, but in the end, it comes out pretty cool. You know, and you can add a little more color here and there, or a little more Tamiya pigment and all that, the weathering pigment and such, to get what you need. But, you know, it'll come out. The work will get, as I said, we pulled it off. That's what the idea. So let the first coat dry and we'll continue on from there. I don't have to worry about taping it off yet. I can do the weathering with all that later, then tape around the hood and then do the patina on that. Patina outside, weathering outside, allows you to be kind of sloppy, or it doesn't have to be, you know, deadline perfect. So we'll do that. Even though I might have to think of some kind of graphic to put on here. Maybe something. We'll see. A little bit of advice. Try painting two things at the same time. Kind of go back and forth in between coats, let things dry. What I got here is a nice little bomber interior I'm doing for a Ripper. And we got some 3D parts and all that. So I'm gonna try to go a little more detail on this. Right now you see this gray, and what it is actually an AS31 Tamiya aircraft color. It is the Ocean Gray 2 Royal Air Force, but it's not all gray, all this. What is actually gray are just the seats. I took off the protective film and put on some PS55 clear, about 2 coats to make it thick. Not that this is gonna see a lot of action, you know, and not worried about paint so much, but I have to worry about that AS paint, Tamiya paint, to adhere to something. So I just cut out the protective film on the seats. They're gonna be gray. Then I got to peel everything else off and then mask. We're gonna have flat black race suits, and we might even do a different black for the seat belts there. Just something different. I'm going with like maybe 3 to 4 different tones of black, just to give it a little more oomph. And you know, it's going in a Ripper, so it might as well be good, right? So always good to do in between stuff. But when dry, we got the good old Pro there drying onto my seat, and we're over here just waiting for paint to dry, but we're gonna put another coat on the VS4-10 Pro. All right, we got a little lazy mistake, but the thing is, a lazy mistake might actually turn into something cool. What I did, I used a towel to kind of wipe everything off, but it left some fabric, some water that I had on it, and maybe you can't tell, it kind of goes down a little bit, but right here on this door, we're gonna pay attention to this. Are we worried about it? No. Because what we're gonna do, I mean, we're gonna paint it, we're gonna use it kind of like part of the salt thing, and when we wet sand it or wipe it off eventually, I think wet sanding, it actually might make a nice little weathering mistake. And that's the beauty of patining, is happy mistakes all the time. We got our second coat on there. It's not totally covered. I didn't really focus on the hood this time, and we're ready to maybe fire up the good old airbrush and add some rust to it, to where you think you would see rust weathering. Are we gonna salt it? We're gonna maybe a little salt. We're gonna try some baking soda as well, because that's the same thing. You could dissolve off too, and sand off and everything. So we're gonna try to get a nice effect. The effect that we're trying to go for, and I think I have it available here. Yes, this is my Volkswagen Bug, and it runs, but the body is not mounted yet. I'm gonna 3D print some parts to mount it, not the body post. But in any case, you can see this is with baking soda, and I just laid it where I want it. I still got, you know, I should fix that a little bit, but this added a real nice texture to it. And who knew baking soda? I did salt the top to get that more, you know, sun-drenched look that you find on Volkswagen buses. But other than that, this is what we're hoping to get on that. We shall see. Let's try this. Fire up the airbrush. Let's go. So before we fire up the airbrush, since I got my poly down, now I've used kind of acrylic airbrush color, and I have this Wicked Colors. I forget the color it actually is. I don't know. Wicked Red Oxide, which sounds perfect, right? But I did mix it with a Creatix Colors UVLS Clear Matte, water-based for acrylic. I don't think I need to worry about it being flat and getting a matte color on there, but I thought I'd try and experiment a little bit. And what's really nice, I don't really need a reducer, even though I put a touch in there, but I don't really need a paint reducer for this application. Most of the time, even with the ProLine stuff, or even that, it comes out of my airbrush pretty fine. So we're gonna add some rust where it needs to be. I got my baking soda somewhere, and we'll apply it and get it going. So silly me, I forgot to really clean my airbrush last time, but figuring out problems. But we got it run. Did a little quick test run, and yeah, there we go. We're rolling. Let's get to this rust. Maybe we'll check the Oilers score first. Let's check the score first. It's 2-1. Go Oil. All right, now back to paint. VS4-10 Pro body is drying up with the rust spots. I'm gonna peel off a little bit more of the protective film and try to get the uniform this time. Maybe even a little bit of the seatbelt. I could mask that off and get a different black on that. But we're gonna get a flat black on that while this is drying. So two moose jobs going at the same time. Who knew? I can multitask. I didn't. So before we think this is like the 1980s movie Scarface, this is just baking soda, folks.
Say hello to my little friend.
All right, we're not getting that wild there, but we did a little fine mist with the water, and we got the baking soda on there, and I think it's gonna turn out great. It's a lot thinner. It's almost like an airbrush. The farther away you sprinkle it on, the more it spreads out. I got a little blotchiness. I might add a little bit more there. But then again, I'm just trying to get a weathering here. I think it's gonna be great. It's getting kind of late. I'm gonna throw on some blue here, the Corsa Blue PS32 Tamiya, and then I think we'll call it a day. We're gonna slow down. The bomber interior is taking a little. I got the next thing layered, but I don't have it masked off. What I want gray is what I need to mask off, folks. And we'll get that tomorrow as well. Productive day, we're moving. We still got a little Brondo thing here that I'm working on for somebody, but other than that, let's paint this blue, call it a night. We'll check in before that, and I'll check in on my Oilers, see how their hockey game's going. So I am almost wanting to just stop right here after the Corsa Blue. It looks really good. I'm glad I picked this color. Let's get some room out of here, but get the airbrush out of the way so you can maybe see it a little bit better. I gotta clean that airbrush. Let's clean our airbrush. But this is it so far. This Corsa Blue is looking perfect. I like it how the rust is kind of fading through there. And obviously it's gonna be more rust once I wipe off that baking soda. It looks great. I love this. I like this color. I think it's perfect. We still gotta do some hood stuff. We're not worried about that. So I'm gonna sit on it. I'm gonna call it a night, and I'm gonna see if I want to add one more coat of Corsa Gray. I should say Corsa Gray PS32, but I'm liking that. It's getting what I think I want, and I hope it's there. But yeah, so we're gonna just call it a night. We're gonna keep up with the rest of my hockey game. We'll start again tomorrow, but I'm happy. It's good. I'm glad I waited on this color, but it's okay to just sit back, take a night, go to bed, sleep on it, think about it, stare at it for a while, and see if I even want that other coat of Corsa Gray, or do I want to start sanding this off and see what happens. Worst thing if I did that, I just kind of repeat the process on top of it and go a little farther with that. But I don't know, it's looking really good. I like the airbrush. Anyways, folks, so let me know in the comments, folks, would you add another coat to this beautiful rusty weathered VS4-10 Pro, or you just leave it as is? How much Corsa Gray would you add? Let me know in the comments. And before I go to bed, thank you for joining Moosejaw'b RC. Subscribe, get the notification, leave comments and all that. But also thank you. We reach over 1,000, And we're just going to try to pick up the Moosejaw'b RC body shop game here in our secret lair, and try to keep your engagement and enthusiasm into RC, and definitely into the Moosejaw'b RC. So again, thank you for the 1,000 subscribers, and here's to 1,000 more. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the next video.